let's talk about sex. I have to whisper. I don't know why.
Why do we have to whisper that word?
So, I don't know why.
But it's so funny
There's
because we
children.
do that as people.
No, I'm not happy. It's just
No. But there's people we do that with these things to make us uncomfortable.
We talk about sex.
We quiet. Sex. Or we can't talk about cancer. Or those things that are like they make us uncomfortable. We're quiet.
Wait, is it for dramatic effect? Maybe. No.
I think it speaks volumes of my own levels of discomfort with something.
Yeah, all right, I hear you. I hear what you're saying.
Right?
I don't have discomfort. I like sex. I think it's great. I need more of it.
Okay.
For this video to make sense, we need a backstory. Now, I teach couples how to massage each other for a living. The person I'm massaging here was my best friend. She was also my wife for the past 10 years. We're not friends anymore. I won't lie, this messed me up a little. Who are we kidding? It properly messed me up. But now that I'm better, I'm on a path of discovery to learn from my mistakes. Maybe we can learn together. In this interview, I'm sitting with Dr. Corey Allan. He's an all-round good guy. We chew the fat on relationships. Stick around. It's just two dudes talking about relationships and feelings. That's normal, right? Tell me, what is a normal amount of sex? Can you have it every day?
Oh, I hate the word normal.
We all need to know that we need validation. Corey.
I got it. But normal, the best description of normal is in the weather.
Yeah, well,
right?
It's not normal. Like,
right. It's
whatever
not.
is
Okay, so
normal.
On
then.
average, the normal temperature for today is whatever. But that normal also includes here and here.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
I know what you're saying.
So it's as unique as the two people involved. And even within that, it's as unique as the one person within the two involved. Because I believe one person is a higher desire and one is a lower in every relationship, on every topic, especially sex. One of you wants it more than the other.
So I have news for you, but it's really hard to share this with you. So, in my past relationship, I was the lower desire. Wow, huh?
And so neither one are right or wrong. They're just points on a continuum.
Oh, I'm so rapt that he said that. I mean, it's normal to have a high desire and a lower desire. What's even more interesting was that at the end of our marriage, those roles reversed.
So how do we manage that? Like, there's always someone that wants it more.
Absolutely.
And someone that wants it less, or someone that wants it better or different.
I see it as you start drilling into the nuances of how do you play the role of either the higher desire or the lower desire better. Because if you're the higher desire for sex, you are responsible for the majority of the initiation and making it happen.
Right.
But the higher desire's complaint most of the time is you never initiate.
A lot of people are saying that.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, but the lower desire you have to recognize, because they want it less, they are the de facto gatekeeper of it happening. Right. Whether they like it or not.
Yeah, it's
they
their
accept
call.
or reject the initiations.
Yep.
Right? So it's just seeing them as how do you learn to be better in that role?
All right, this is important. Firstly, can you identify, are you the higher desire or the lower desire? And then secondly, have a listen to what Dr. Corey has to say next.
So if you're a higher desire, how are you inviting it more? How are you engaging more? How are you learning the language of the sex as you see it and as your relationship defines it to be better? And if you're the lower desire, how are you recognizing your responsiveness, your engagement? What is it that's making the lower desire? Because sometimes the lower desire has better clarity of the sex they're having isn't really worth wanting.
Right.
Right.
What if it's just the lower desire is like, I'm satisfied with what I get. This is me.
Yeah. So then it becomes which one of you gets to hold the other hostage.
That sounds pretty ominous, doesn't it? Sounds horrible.
See a look at my face? That's me just then realizing that I was holding my partner hostage, and I didn't even realize I was doing it. I thought I was just doing me.
That sounds pretty ominous, doesn't it? Sounds horrible.
Welcome to married life and what it is sometimes, whether depending on which lens you want to put on it.
Yeah.
But it is seeing it as that's the reality of a normal. There, I'm using the word
Thank
now.
you very much. We've got it,
I'm
guys.
catching myself. That's the reality of a marriage, is that dynamic. So if you're asking what's normal, what research would say is it's roughly once a week.
Okay.
Is an average level of sex according to what research shows. Blue collar workers is a little bit more than that.
Before you run off to your partner and say, hey, did you see the stats? It's once a week we should be having sex at least. Benchmarking yourself against stats is dangerous because we're all individuals. The key takeaway to what is being said right here is determining which of the desires you are, the high desire or the lower desire, and then understanding why you're there. Understanding why your partner's there and understanding why you are there as well. And from there, you can start working a way of getting yourself on track on what helps both of you. I like that.
Why are blue collar workers more? I love this data and science.
Yeah, it's my hunch. I don't know if they have a clear distinction, but my hunch is there's an element of there's less cerebral.
Thought, right?
Because
so you get home,
you go work hard,
yeah,
and
you've done your job.
You've done your job,
there.
and you go home, and you can be romantic and engaged.
You're
But
not thinking about
if you're
your
in
job.
the white collar, lots of white collar jobs out there, you never leave your job.
Yeah, yeah. Well, this is
Especially with today's phone and technology, you're never off the clock.
But I work like from the moment I wake
Yep.
up to the moment I go to sleep.
Yep.
I'm thinking about melt.
As
I'm
do
doing
I.
Stuff.
I'm not thinking about melt.
You
from
should
the
be.
moment I wake
Melt
up.
is amazing.
I'm thinking of Sexy Marriage Radio from the moment I wake up to the moment I go to sleep. But there's that element of it's harder when you've got a lot of other things, and that's what my hunch is on the difference.
Question time. Having sex every day. Could you do it? Have you done it before for, say, longer than a 2-week period in a long-term relationship? Not when we were like in our 20s and we could go like forever. Comment below, let me know.
Is it possible to have sex every day?
Sure.
He's the expert, and I don't believe him.
Why would it not be?
It's because dopamine says that, and serotonin says that we need more.
Okay, so let me ask you this question, because in the hunch you're going with, would you say it's the man that probably couldn't go every day? Because a woman doesn't need the refractory period.
Yeah, no, it's not even with that. I think both men and women saying, and I'm like, there are 7 billion people on this planet, so I'm not generalization. I can't do it.
I get it.
Which means that even this whole thing is just debunked. Anyway, is what we're talking about.
I'm glad we're talking about this, though.
I think it's a very interesting topic.
I got you.
I just like I'm trying to be right. This is what this whole thing is.
I got
is
you.
me being right.
Okay.
But the science that I've looked into is that the body's hormones that drives us into wanting more, into wanting something, says that if you have sex in bed, at your home, at the same time, doing the same thing every day, you just don't want it after a while.
Okay, but you're saying that as this is a conversation with 40-year-old dudes.
Yeah.
That we see sex as more than something just an act.
Yeah,
There's
I
a
agree.
depth to it. And so
Yes.
if you get into a monotonous routine, absolutely, why would you want to do that? So you asked the question of can you? Yes. The response to that is why would you want to?
He's good. He's good. It's like,
because when you're 22,
yeah, no, it's on.
then
Look.
every day, what's the problem? Or if you got an incredibly high drive and you're married to someone that's got a drive similar or higher on the scale than average, why wouldn't you? But it's, to me, the question always when it comes to committed relationship sex is it's not quantity, it's the quality. Is the sex you're having worth having?
Yeah, I like it.
because it's not about just an act.
It's not a wham bam.
It's with the
Thank you,
person
ma'am.
you're with. The best sex is when each partner in the participating in it is seeking what they want and what their partner wants
It just makes sense.
at the same
Right.
time, or taking turns, or however that unfolds. But you're both into it, and you can even go a little bit further and get to the point of, I want what you want for yourself in this too.
How do you find that? Like, it sounds very zen and it sounds perfect, right? How do
That's
you
that tantric world, right?
how do you find that in a long-term relationship when there is resentment and there is like, I'm upset with him or her because I didn't do the dishes for the last
But see,
2
that's
weeks.
that's where you're getting into. You start looking at, okay, look at the whole of the story we're living, right? Look at the story that we've created. Look at the life we've got. Yes, we're going to have nuances. I've got quirks in the way I want to do life. She's got quirks in the way she wants to do life. Is that enough to derail us?
No, that's
No,
crazy.
not usually. And because if you think about it, most of the fights we have in married life, if you look back at it, you're like, what were we even fighting about?
I look back now.
Right. So it's seeing it as, how do I keep a proper perspective? And then when I deal with anger, frustration, resentment, sadness, some of those things that can seem like they zap energy and eroticism or desire, how do I digest those suckers to take what's good out of them still? To realize, if I didn't care about that person, I wouldn't be angry with them. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
I would rather have a couple come into my office, and if they will fight it out, I have tremendous hope for them.
Well, there's passion for it.
Exactly. But if one person comes in and they're completely apathetic, there's nothing I can do.
Yeah, that was the end of my marriage.
Yeah, there's nothing I can do.
That's exactly how I felt. I was just like, you know what? That's fine.
Right. So
Really.
then it's done. You're doomed.
I feel totally exposed right now. It's like I'm airing my dirty laundry out, but I think this is helpful and useful. I can remember when we just stopped fighting and we both just disengaged. I knew that this was the beginning of the end. I just didn't take any action on it. And it hurt afterwards. It hurt really bad. God damn, it hurt. And it could have been fixed.
Yep.
So it's seeing it as, when you're dealing with life and sex in that relationship, how are you bringing your whole person to it, which is the whole concept of knowing and being known, seen, being seen.
Yep.
So it's much more than just an act. It's a language.
Tell me, how do you deal with someone weaponizing sex? Such as, I'm not going to give you sex because, actually, here's one that actually come through. Someone said that she's withholding sex because he believes that they downsized from a bigger house to a smaller house.
Okay, stop right there though. He believes. So it's not been confirmed?
Yeah, there's more to it as well.
Right. So all that kind of stuff has to be fleshed out, because it's not as simple as, well, A equals B.
And I like that you said that, because there's more to what he said as well, such as he was saying that he did it because he's closer to home, like he doesn't have to commute as much, thinking that that's going to be better for them. He didn't consult her about it.
There you go. So he's weaponizing location.
Right. So it's starting well before
His
that.
comfort is more important than hers. Right. And so it's just, this is a phrase I love from, I believe Dr. Schnarch is the one that coined it, that we have to realize in marriage we're dealing with an emotional terrorist. And then there's our spouse to deal with too.
I was going to say, I wanted to know who was going to be the terrorist.
Well, we all are.
Yeah.
And so it's recognizing, because if you think about it, marriage gets at its worst when you get into a commodity-based system.
Explain.
I'll give you sex if you do X.
Yeah, no, that
Right.
sucks. I've seen this happen with my friends.
But it's not spoken that cleanly, though. It's a undercurrent commodity. It's an exchange-based thing. I'll act in this way to get something from you, right? But a marriage can be at its best when it is an overt commodity situation,
Give me an example.
where it's this whole, I'm doing this and it's very overt what I'm attached to with this. That's a different way to go about it, rather than I set up the right scenario, I put on the massage tape, and I teach, and we had this great intimate massage time, and then no sex happens, and then I'm pouty and angry and all this, Matt. And she read right off the bat when I walked in the door and there was a candle. She knew exactly what I was after. But I'm playing it off as, I just want a really good time to connect with you, right? And in reality, no, I just wanted the sex. Because she had all that time to actually connect with them.
Yeah.
So it wasn't really true.
Interesting.
So it's seeing it as, how am I becoming cleaner with what I'm after, and I'm handling me better.
Mm-hmm.
You know, one of the things that Pam and I believe in and work at here is with a group at our church is this whole, the premise is, if you want a better relationship, you draw a circle around yourself, and you work to fix everything inside that circle.
You're going to be there forever.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Because once I get myself figured out, I change
Yeah.
and evolve. But that just makes it to where I need to stay in my circle and realize, you know what? Yeah, I was manipulative in that. Good on you for actually catching that. Well done. You know, and just if I can use, that's where I can then harness that in a better way on the dynamic of each of us being engaged. Because if you think about it, in marriage and in sex for sure, but in marriage, we want to be chosen.
Absolutely. You want to be accepted, of
Right.
course.
I want someone to want to do that with me, not just placate me. That's mercy sex. Nobody wants that long term, right? But I want to be chosen.
Yeah. I want to be loved. I want to know that I'm important to you.
So be something worth choosing,
Or be a Caroline.
or be that.
Hopefully that was helpful for you. This is part one of a 3-part series because Corey and I talked a lot. It was really interesting stuff. It's interesting as well because for me, I don't know if it's... I wish I had that information or access to Corey when we were in the thick of things. Because we saw counselors, we saw multiple counselors, and all of them were shit, were really bad. And we didn't get anywhere close to any sort of clarity. I don't know if it was because it was so intense at the time, and now that I've gone through it and I've come out on the other side and I'm out of the fog and I'm clearer, maybe I understand it better now. I don't know. I can't tell you what that is. I do know that some of the counselors, it takes time to find the right one. We found shitty ones. One in particular was spending more time wanting to know about Melt than actually wanting to know about us and helping us work through our problems. So, stick with me. A few more episodes to come along. Go Google Sexy Marriage Radio. I'll also put a link in the description below. Corey Allan, he's a good guy. He's a lot of fun. He makes me laugh. He jokes around a lot. It's nice. All right. I'm going to go rest. Try to calm down. All right. See you next episode.